Mostly it's photos, but those photos do have captions on them, so that's usually where more of the text is. And it's not really as often, it's more like a Facebook than it is like you post all the time. And this is what the app looks like on your phone. And this is what like your profile would look like. I just made this fake profile for this presentation. This is what your profile looks like. You've got like, this is my name, and that's like my bio. That's my username. That shows how many posts I have, my followers, the number of people I'm following.
So privacy settings, when you make your Instagram account, it's automatically set to be a public account, which means that anyone can see it. You have to manually change it to private in your settings. Blocking accounts prevents other accounts from seeing your posts, your likes, or just your account in general. You can also stop someone from commenting on your post, but they can still see your post. Activity status it shows other users on Instagram when you were active on Instagram or the last time you have been on Instagram. And there's a little green dot that pops up by your profile picture to show if you were on it. And yeah, you can turn that off in settings.
Okay, other settings. So your activity up there, this is all in the settings section. Your activity will show you how much time you spent on Instagram, like on average a week. Your ad activity, because on your like feed, ads will sometimes come up because Instagram gets money from that. So then ad activity shows you like when you click on or like ads, posts you've liked, that shows everything you've liked since you made your Instagram. And your search history allows you to clear everything you've looked up on the Explore page. Down there, that's how you get to the Explore page. And you can like look up other users or hashtags and things like that.
So stories come from the app Snapchat. You can post a video or a picture, and it will last for up to 24 hours before it disappears. Now you can have a setting where only people that follow your account can see your story, or where anyone can see your story. You can also see who viewed your story in the order that they saw it. The functions to add a question or a poll allow you to ask a question, and your viewers of your story can answer it. Unlike Snapchat, all of your old stories are automatically added into an archive where you can see your own stories after they've disappeared 24 hours later. And a hidden story or close friend story allows you to choose who can see your stories. Not all of your followers and not everyone, just certain people.
And then other functions, photos and videos of you. It's like people can tag you in a picture. It's like in Facebook where it's like, is this your friend Bobby? And you're like, yeah. Same thing, you can go to your profile and it'll show you. And anyone who follows you can see all the photos you've been tagged in, and you can go to your settings and set it so that you have to approve a post before it shows up in your tag photos. Notifications, those can be sent to, like, it'll show up on your lock screen for anything from like follow requests, comments, likes, or even the activity status of the people you follow. And then direct messaging, that's like texting, but it's in the Instagram app. You can text one person or multiple people at the same time. This is one that's set to just the King's Instagram, and this is just saying hi. It shows when the person that you sent it to has read it. It also shows when you sent it. You can also unsend it, but it will send like a notification to the person you originally sent it to that you unsent something, even though they won't be able to see it anymore. And then this is more. So Rinsta versus Finsta. Many people, but not all, have both. I have both. Rinsta is like a real Instagram. It usually has a broader follower range, and that posts relatively infrequently. Like for me, like my family, everybody's on that one, and it's just when I go on vacation, pretty much. And then your Finsta, your fake Instagram, is only followed by people you're close with, and usually posts more often about smaller things. Like mine will be, oh, I tripped on the stairs today, and it's just a picture of me laying on the ground or something. That type of stuff. And then hashtags, everybody knows what those are. That's when you just mark a word in your caption, so it appears when a user looks it up. And the one here is hashtag #KingStrong. And you can also follow hashtags like a user.
So deleting an account, it cannot be done within the app. It must be done from a website, from a mobile browser, or a computer. Deleting the app will not delete the account. If you delete the app, all it does is take it off of your phone. The account is still there and anyone can still see it. If you go to the Instagram website and log in to delete your account, you will see a temporarily disable account, your account. So you have to log into the website, your account on the website, go to My Profile, Edit Profile, and at the bottom of that first page should be a temporarily disable your account, and from there you'll be asked why you're doing it. So the difference between actually deleting your account and temporarily disabling it is when you temporarily disable it, your posts aren't deleted from Instagram, but your account is hidden from other users. And like when you sign up for Instagram, you have to have either a phone number or an email, and that isn't deleted when you only disable it. So all of your information is still kept in Instagram, and you can re-log into your account at any time and reactivate it. Deleting the account deletes everything. So it will get rid of all of your posts and all of your followers and everything. But on the Instagram website, there is no option to delete it. I struggled finding a way to delete it. I had to Google it, and from an Instagram support page, I found the link to permanently delete an account. So, questions?
You can ask us now, or you can email.
So if you have a private account, can you make a public story or not?
I don't think you can.
No.
And then vice versa, so if I have a public account, can I make a private story?
Yes, you can have your close friends.
So for teenagers, do they typically have a Rinsta and a Finsta?
A lot of people do. We both have both,
yes.
But some people don't. It's just like, because usually people have like a Snapchat, they won't have a Finsta, but I don't really use my Snapchat, so I have a Finsta. Yes.
Can I add something about that? So one thing that you all would probably be interested in when it comes to Finstas is that your child probably isn't like, whereas your main account might be your name with a number or just your name, most Finstas have very different names so that like only their friends would know. So it's very easy to keep hidden, and like if one of you were to stumble across this Finsta, you would probably have no idea that it was your child's. So that's just something that you may want to be aware of, that it is definitely much more hidden and a lot more private than their public accounts. But like I said, there are negatives with that too.
Anyone else? Nope. Okay, we'll hand it off.
If you have any questions that aren't answered, you can email us at Easy With Us.
Alright, hi, I'm Jordan.
And I'm Noah. Before I start, can you all hear me pretty well? Or would you, like in the back, or do you think that I should use the microphone? We're good? Awesome. So, welcome to Twitter. We have a very general overview, and just like them, we'll have some questions at the end if you guys have any.
Feel free to interrupt us at any time, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we start, I'm just curious, how many of you guys have a Twitter? That's kind of what I expected. One thing to just mention before we get started is that of the three that we'll be covering today, being Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter, Twitter definitely has the largest adult demographic, and that's just something that is nice to be aware of. So you guys probably are somewhat familiar with it. This is just kind of the tweet lingo, just so that you know what everything kind of means. A DM is just a shorter way of calling a direct message, which is the way on Twitter for people to just kind of message each other very privately. Instead of just commenting in a public manner, they're able to have private conversations on Twitter. There's also an RT, which is just a retweet. And this is the biggest thing that is different from other platforms, where on other places you just like things, whereas on Twitter you're able to retweet, and then it shows up on your page as well as the person that made the original tweet.
It's like the equivalent of sharing a post on Facebook.
Yeah, more or less. And then a tweet is just a random message. Usually it is limited to 140 characters, so they're very short, but it's just a way for someone to post a little thought or add a picture or a video, that kind of thing, just to kind of share something little with all of their followers. And then a tweeter That's just a way of calling the person that's making a tweet. Then this is what the tweet's actually going to look like. Over there you can see a little picture of a man. That's their avatar or their profile picture. Then in bold, right next to it is their Twitter name. And then next to it is the person's name. In this tweet specifically, there's a link here. And as I mentioned, there's a 140 character limit. So many people, when putting links on Twitter, will use shorteners such as bit.ly. There's also like goo.gl and a bunch of other things that will shorten really long links so that they're able to be included in tweets. There's the text right below it, and then there's also a hashtag, which is just like on Instagram. If you put a hashtag, you can click on it, and there will be every single tweet that has used that hashtag just at their disposal to look at whether or not they're following those accounts or the hashtags. There is a favorite button, which has now been changed to likes, and it's just pretty much the same thing as Instagram. And those can be viewed on everyone's page, which is definitely something to mention. On Instagram, you can only see the posts that you've liked, but on Twitter, you can go to anyone's account, scroll over, and you can see every post that they've liked as well. And that includes retweets, comments. You can view all of their activity on Twitter. There's also just the retweet button to make that retweet, and then there's a reply button, which is just the same as leaving a comment.
So this is what the updated app looks like. These two are kind of the updated one. That one's like what the old version looks like. So you've got your home screen. That's where all the tweets are going to show up. And so that can be your tweets, your friend's tweets, or a tweet from someone else that your friend did retweet. So yeah, all tweets will show up there, and so will ads and suggestions of who you should follow based on your friends, things like that. And then the second little screen is the search bar. I didn't show a picture of it, but it would just be the little magnifying glass. You can look up, it's kind of the same thing as Instagram. You can look up other users, you can look up hashtags, you can do that kind of stuff. The screen in the middle, it shows you your notifications page. So that'll tell you if someone has requested to follow you if you're private, or if someone has followed you if you're not private. So for me, I really like knowing as soon as possible when King's local school district has a snow day. So I put King's local, their tweets, I put it on their settings for them to notify me whenever they tweet. And so that would show up there as well. Like, King's local just tweeted, congrats, you have a snow day. And then messages, that's where like your DMs would show up. It's the same thing.
And then one thing that we don't really have a slide for kind of the pros and cons, but one of the major cons that should definitely be shared with all of you is that, in my opinion, compared to many other social media platforms, this is the one that you have the least control over in terms of what shows up on your feed. Obviously, you can follow as many people as you want, but like I said, that retweet thing means that anything that they retweet will automatically show up on your home feed. So even if you're following accounts that may not necessarily be explicit or bad, if that person, that friend might retweet something with some kind of negative content, then that's on your feed and your child is going to be exposed to that. Like that was mentioned in the video, how 20-some% of students have encountered hate speech. If I had to guess, a lot of that wasn't necessarily something that they were following or looking for. And Twitter is one of the big ways that can kind of just come into their possession without necessarily wanting to, just through likes or retweets. Because anything that is liked, and everything that's retweeted, and some things that are liked by the people that they are following, even if they are just friends, will show up on their feed. And like I said, there can be some explicit content on there that they weren't necessarily thinking they'd find.
We do also see a lot of like Twitter fights that break out. So just, when someone does leave a reply, things can get heated very quickly. It happens a lot with the kids at King's. And I wouldn't necessarily call it like bullying per se, but it is very easy to antagonize someone on Twitter.
That said, it's also a very great platform of getting out news and information. Like she said, all the King's accounts are very proactive in stuff like snow days, delays. If you have a child that's in a sport, odds are there's a Twitter account for it. Like, for example, we're both on the swim team, and our coaches are constantly putting out stuff, information about meets and all kinds of that kind of, like, information about the swim team, as well as, and it's like that for every single sport. And it's a great way for even the district just to get out information and show that the schools are doing great things. Yeah. Do you guys have any questions regarding Twitter?
There are no stupid questions.
So when it comes to social media so far, is Twitter out then compared to Instagram, or is Instagram the?
I would say that all three of these, like these are the three big ones for teenagers right
So
now.
they'll use all of them?
Yeah,
Yes.
I would say, yeah.
I've got all three.
Yeah, I have all three too. You guys?
Yeah.
Other than that, there aren't really any that are super big. Like Facebook is not big with teens anymore.
That's like the older Instagram.
Yes, exactly.
Follow my MySpace. That's a big one right now.
Although I will say, if you have seniors that have just gotten into colleges or are looking at colleges, a lot of them will download a Facebook right around this time to look for roommates. And so if they're not really experienced with Facebook, that can be problematic. So just watch out for that. That was
One way to kind of think about them is that, like I said, Twitter is used for short kind of thoughts and expressing opinions. I would say people are a lot more opinionated on Twitter, whereas on Instagram, most teenagers are just using it to post a picture and kind of show what they're doing, not really trying to be any risky or anything like that, just kind of safe posts. And then Snapchat is all just one-on-one communication between people, or in group chats, but really that's just communication privately as opposed to here. This is tweets for
very,
everyone.
very public.
Yeah. Yeah?
I need to go back to Instagram really quick.
Yeah, no problem.
In order to know if your child has a, what's it called?
Finsta.
Finstagram,
Mhm.
do you have to get into their profile to know that?
So on their profile,
There's like a
do you guys
section.
want to take this?
I mean, we can just say it here if you want us to.
Well, to find someone's Finsta, you kind of have to know what maybe like fake name they would use. Like I'm called Sorry a lot, so mine's Sorry. And also
I do random phone checks, okay? So if I was to do a random phone check, I'm that mom.
Do you want to see? Yeah.
So if I was to do a random phone check and I got on my lovely son's Instagram, there is, can I just,
So, yes, I think
Yeah.
Here, go
does
back to
it
the
pop
profile.
up somewhere?
there's a page for it.
Yeah, if you. So probably it'll be open to like his Rinsta or whatever.
Okay.
See up there?
Ah,
It's got a little
okay.
arrow next to it, and you can click on it and drop down and show all the accounts. Like my 2 other accounts are listed up there. This one's getting deleted today, guys.
Okay, I got
But
it.
yeah,
All right, I found it. Yeah.
if you just didn't have his username, that'd be like me trying to find any of your Instagrams. I could like guess at what I think it might be, but I wouldn't really know.
Okay.
Obviously,
so that's
though-
just what I wanted to know. I wanted to make sure I was in the right.
Yeah,
place.
absolutely.
Fine then.
Obviously, though, that would be only on their phone. Like, you wouldn't be able to go to their main account and click on their name and have all their accounts show
Right,
up.
because I have their accounts linked to my account, so I can see.
Oh, so then, yeah, you
exactly
would be
what
able to.
But if I did it, and he didn't tell me as a Finsta account, then I wouldn't know that, so I wouldn't know that. Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so just Abby, so like if you make a fun Instagram account for say like your dog, would that appear on it?
I do, yes. I have one for my dog. I forgot to mention that.
Okay.
Yes, that would be listed under the drop down, but you would have to log into it on whatever phone. So if you had my real Instagram and that was logged into your phone, you still wouldn't have my Finstagram or my dog's Instagram because that isn't logged in yet. Because those accounts are connected. They're separate. They could be run by entirely different people. Instagram doesn't know that.
And so your followers don't transfer, posts
Yeah.
don't transfer, nothing like that. So you could have a completely different group of followers on your main account than you do your spam account. So like I know a lot of people have other Finsta accounts following your Finsta account.
Yeah.
And then you just follow other people's mains with your main.
So they all have different like passwords to get into.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
They're
correct.
not linked at all.
But if they're all if you're all sharing it on one app on your phone, then they all fall under your one.
You have to
Okay.
add it per device.
All right. Yes.
Anything else? Awesome.
All right, next.
All right, Snapchat.
And I will say this, so kind of going back to their apps also, I will say that Instagram is the app to like be perfect on. Like you just, because you have a lot more followers on there. So whatever you post, you want like people to like it, I guess. And then Snapchat is kind of like the ugly app where you send ugly pictures to your friends. It's like the more goofy one. And then Twitter, like they said, is where you kind of like express your thoughts. So if you look at it that way. So we are clearly doing Snapchat. So the requirement to sign up for this, you need your full name, and you are supposed to be 13 at least. Now, ways to get around that. All you have to do is enter a birth date. So you could enter whatever birth date you want. I will be honest. I got a Snapchat when I was probably 10. So that was me. And then, so you also need to enter a number or an email. And if you lose your password or forget it, you can use the email or the number. But also, whatever information is on here, other people cannot see it. Besides your name.
So as well on the little out there. So not only you can just put in a random date to make your accounts, you can also create your own usernames to add friends as well. It could be completely random, something a little goofy. You know, like I made mine in 8th grade, so mine's a little goofy. You know, 13-year-old self. Usually, this is like she kind of said. This is the ugly app. You know, it's really quick, just kind of snaps to communicate with one another. Almost simple conversation, but with an image to add on to it. There are ways like simple text. They are also color coded. So, for example, the red would mean that would be a picture. The purple would be that it is a video, and the blue meaning it was a text. The symbols as well are different. It'll tell you when they're open, what time they're open, and all sorts of things like that.
To add on to that, if you look over here by their name, there's a little symbol. It's a leaf. That's my Snapchat. I just have it. And then there's a number by it. So that is the streaks. So a streak is if you snap a person for however many days. I think you have to have like 3 days at least, and then a streak will pop up. So if you continue to snap them every single day, the streak will get higher and higher. As you can see here, this one is 168. So it can keep getting higher and higher. And then also the little emojis over here, it tells you your best friends list. So this emoji here, and that one, that means they're on my best friends list. And then that one means I have a mutual friend as her. So it kind of shows you that. However, the emojis are different on everyone's Snap. There is a basic list of emojis. However, you can go into your settings and change them. Just so you know. So as he was saying, pictures, you can change the setting. It can be however many seconds you want, 1 through 10, or you can make it infinity. And then also you can save your Snapchats, whether you take a picture or a video, you save them into your memories. And the memories are kind of like your own personal photo album, but on Snapchat. And
So, kind of what she was saying, the memories thing. There are many different ways to save your photos. Depending on what your settings are, you can save them to your camera roll, which usually is what I do. Because I like editing my photos, adding little colorations, or adding little stickers across mine. Just my own little touch to my photos, and then they save to my camera roll. So they're mine. And I can post them anywhere else. So if I wanted to post them to my Facebook account, for example, and have my family see my photos, that would happen. But also, which we're moving on to the dark side of Snapchat, there's also a little side file called My's Only. This is a separate photo album on that app that allows you to put in it appears to be a 4-digit code or password, which goes onto the separate photo album to where you can only see these photos. Now, of course, if you have this code, you can go into that file as well and see these photos. There are some pros and there's a lot of cons to this. The pros, you know, if you want to save something private, you know, and that's kind of your thing. If someone accesses your phone, you just want to hide it, or you know, whatever your reasoning may be. Sure, that I guess that can be positive. The negative side, there can be a lot of inappropriate things. I guess the best way I could describe that. Inappropriate things saved to your My Eyes Only file, and which is where it can be really dangerous. Nowadays, you see a lot of things coming up in the news of social media of, you know, all of interesting photos or video or like fights at school and things like that that are saved into these files and that are shared around, but most people don't know where they come from, and a majority of them come from files like these. So the school, for example, you know, they find a video that's leaked, it can be very well, I guess, hidden in, like I said, files like this. Another thing as well that's really dangerous with this app is not just the files, but also the location abilities on it. So for example, you can see, this is your Snap Maps as well. You can turn these off at any time, but it does give away your location of where you are. So for example, this map would show all of her friends and where they are in real time. So whenever you access your app or whenever you use it, it will show the exact location of where you are. And it lists, as you can see, city of where you are, state routes. You have a really good general idea. It'll also show groups if you're with your friends. So if I'm just with these guys and I'm friends with them on Snap and we're all in the same general location like this room, it will all show us here in this part of the building. Which is the scary part of it is if you have some friends, you know, that are kind of shady or it's people you don't know, they can see this. Now you can turn these settings off. Like I said, most of this app is very customizable, mainly to how you operate, which is pretty nice for the most part. And you can turn the location settings off to where you don't have to be seen. But most of the time, most kids are kind of naive to the fact that it is on, or most kids just don't simply care. And it will stay on, and you know, unfortunately, it can cause some bad things to happen.
Kind of like what he was saying, you can choose who can see your location. There you can go to your settings and you can select the friends that you want to see your location, unless you want everyone to see it, and then you can select the everyone tab. Also, like he was saying, it shows the state route and everything, and it goes as far out as it like zooms out a lot, like the world. Basically, you can see everything, and you can zoom in. As you can see during school today, I zoomed in on Kings High School, so close that you can even see our tennis courts. So that shows basically exactly what location you are in. So that is definitely kind of a scary part if you're not supposed to be doing that. Some key features. Snaps can be replayed. After you open a Snapchat, if you press and hold on it after it was cleared, it'll pop back up again and you can watch it one more time, whether it's a video or a picture. Now you can screenshot it, and the person that sent the Snapchat, they will get a notification saying that you replayed it or took a screenshot. Now, there are apps that you can screen record or screenshot and it will not notify the person. It's like a secret app and you can download it just from the App Store. And it's like you get like 10 free screenshots or whatever. Like they usually make you pay money, but there's always some free ones. And then it does not notify the person. So that is also a privacy thing, whether or not people are sending what they should be sending. Any questions?
Can you tell us how you get to the maps? I got there
Yeah.
at one point, but
So if you go,
I believe it's to your camera.
yeah, if you go to this page and you swipe, it's gonna go to your camera, and then you swipe down if it's updated. If it is not updated, you zoom, and then it'll pop up. Along with the stories and who can view it, you can create a private story. So like Sarah and Abby were saying about Instagram, you can have a private story and you can choose who sees it. Or again, you can make everyone see it. And those are things to watch out for because usually people only have a private story because they don't want everyone seeing it. So usually not the best stuff on there. There's one more thing.
I've got one. So for one of the key features, so some of you that do have Snapchat, on the very far end, where you can see your friends' stories, you can also see at the bottom are some articles, some that you can subscribe to, or some that it kind of just offers you, throws out there that are just random. Some of these articles are pretty interesting. You've got news articles, you've got sports articles, you've got really anything. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, you can scroll for hours. And so some of these articles, you know, can be a toss-up between appropriate or, you know, kind of just...
Some of them are political.
Yeah, I mean, you've got political ones. It really, I mean, like I said before, the range is endless. But, you know, sometimes I'll be scrolling through the articles, just kind of see what's going on today, or maybe trying to see something that's entertaining to me, or like Sports Center, for example, has an article. I like watching their articles, you know, all things like that. But every once in a while, I believe, like Vice is a really big one. They have an article or a subscription you can subscribe to, and they'll have some articles or some stories that you're wondering kind of like just why is this even on here? And, you know, that's something that can be, should be something you guys should look out for. You know, you can see a lot of younger kids who get their Snapchats at 10 years old, you know, who read these, who can see these articles, and, you know, they can share them with their friends or pass them along, and it's just something that is just either not appropriate or something they maybe shouldn't understand at their age, and that really is something that is either can be amazing or something that can just really be awful.
Yeah.
Yes, in the back.
Is there a way to filter the articles? Say I only want like a certain whatever cartoon stuff to come up, or is there all stories coming on there?
So the articles, how it works is the way it's set up right now. This could change in the future, but as of right now, you can subscribe to an article. So Sports Center, for example, I like watching Sports Center. I subscribe to their article, and there it'll show your subscriptions. Then below that, unfortunately, as far as my knowledge goes, you cannot control the articles that pop up in the bottom. It, like I say, it can range from anything from sports to fashion to whatever topic they want to throw at you.
I was just saying, for the majority though, I wouldn't say that it's very inappropriate. It, like,
Pop culture stuff.
Yeah, Cosmopolitan's probably the most scandalous thing on there. It's not, you know, insane.
It's just more age-appropriate things that, you know, that are the problem.
Yeah.
So can you go back to that picture of the map?
Yeah.
So does that pop up only when people are on Snapchat, or is it just when their phone is on, or what?
So it lasts updates when you're on Snapchat. However, you can still see the location, and there will be a little notification by their name that will say like 30 minutes ago or however long ago until they get on Snapchat again, and then it'll re-update.
Okay. So anytime they're on Snapchat, it shows where they were when they got
Right, the last time they had logged in.
So if you're in the car moving up 71 and you open Snapchat, it'll show you in your little car moving up 71.
Yeah.
There's like it'll show you what as a person in a little cute little buggy.
And even if yours says private, like nobody can see my location on my Snapchat. Mom, don't worry. I can still see everybody else's that's public. So
yes. Even if you don't have yours on, you can see everyone else's.
And as soon as you set up an account, it's not automatically switched to off. It's on, like, what was the other one that was on? Oh, like when you create an Instagram, you're automatically you're public right
Are these just your friends, or this is everybody?
So these are the people that I have on Snapchat that had their location on at the time.
Like your friends, though?
Yes, my friends that I have added back. And another thing like that, you can add whoever. There is a search button that you can type in their username and add them if you would like. There's also a quick add where suggested usernames pop up and you can add them. And most of the suggested is like friends of friends or like people from your contacts. There's also a section of it lists your contacts and whether or not they have a Snapchat because it lets you know if their Snapchat is linked to their number. So if it is, you can find their Snapchat through your contacts.
Very similar to Facebook, you know, with
Yes.
the mutual friends based on location, friends of friends, things like that.
Question?
You said that you can add people,
Yes.
contacts, or whomever.
Mm-hmm.
Can they opt out of not letting you add them?
So you can, once you get the ad, the little notification that somebody added you, you can dismiss it and then not see it again. Or if you want, you can remove or block them, like the other apps. Along
so
with that,
somebody could add you that you really don't know at all, and then
yes,
if you don't,
correct.
If you don't block them or delete them or whatever.
Yes,
they're
they
following.
could message you. However, you will not receive the message unless you add them back. It'll just be kind of floating in space. And then once you add them back, if somebody texted you like a year ago and you just now added them back, that message will pop up. So, and then another thing with the chat, it used to be where messages, you could save them. The person that you were talking to, they can save them. And then it was just stuck there on the chat. But now there's a new update where the person that sent it can delete it. And they will get the notification that the message was deleted. But before, you could never delete them if somebody saved it. So that is a new plus to Snapchat.
But for the most part, you see, you know, so most conversation, you do have the opportunity to also save that text or also just not save it and eventually it'll go away. The difference between the text and the photos are the photos in your story stay up for 24 hours somewhere on Instagram, and the photos that you send directly to one another, so if I send her a photo of myself, you can replay it, you can screenshot it and save it, things like that. But text, when you type, so let's say I said hi to somebody, if they answer and it just leave that chat room, then the next time you get in that chat room, it will no longer be there. But if they tap that text and save that text in the chat, the next time you enter that chat room, it will be saved and it will be logged, and it will say the time that you had sent the chat, time it was read, so on and so forth.
Any more questions?
As a 10-year-old and a tween,
Yes.
Were you mainly using Snapchat for pictures and for fun? How much did you get versed on it, and at what age would you recommend Snapchat?
See, I
Now that
don't
you're
really
older.
know if it was 10. That just kind of came out of my
As a
mouth.
tween,
I
I
think,
guess.
I know I had it in 6th grade. For sure. I think I got it in 6th grade, actually. So I'm sure all those 6th graders have them now, too, especially with how grown they're getting. So I would say, yes, it was really just to, like, it was, like, the new cool thing, and, like, really just wanted to, like, send a 10-second snap to my friend, or, like, a video of what we were doing. And I would say Snapchat really replaced, not fully, but, like, a lot, it replaced just the normal messaging app. Like, I would say I only use messaging now to text my family, and, like, school people or something, but to talk to my friends, I usually use Snapchat, honestly. So that's kind of like my main app for communicating now. But I would say a good age is probably 30.
I mean,
That's a little,
when it comes to
little up
age,
there.
when it comes to age on something like Snapchat, for example, I mean, It could, like she said, it could be really anywhere, but honestly, I made mine when I was in like 8th grade, so I was of age to actually, make one myself and have that capability. I think overall, it's just it's depending on how well you monitor your kids or kind of, what kind of you instill in your kid overall. You can do inappropriate things with it. You can also be doing things that it's supposed to be meant for, what it was designed to do. And that's just really with anything at any age at this point. You can't really control who gets on, who gets off, who makes an account, because obviously, like she had just said, you can just make a random date. Like I was born in 1945, June 1st, something like that. And next thing you know, I have a Snapchat. But I just think overall, like if you monitor really well, or you kind of instill the idea of, oh, hey guys, make sure you're doing the right thing of this or doing the right thing for that. You don't have to be a helicopter parent, just be like hovering over them every second of the day, but just kind of give the idea of, hey, use this kind of appropriately and don't be, just don't make dumb decisions.
Kind of like that, I think it's really just a preference, whether or not you think your child is ready and if they are mature enough. I think that's a big thing. So I think it's really just preference.
Do kids have 2 accounts on Snapchat also, like a fenced in?
So no, Snapchat, they have 2 different stories.
Okay.
So since you can create a private story, you can add.
Share with just your close friends.
Yes. And then they can see whatever they want on that story, whatever you post. And then, like, say you have your parents on. I have my parents on there. And so you can choose who can view your story. Say I didn't want my parents to see what I posted, I can remove them from seeing my story. Or if I just wanted my friends to be on my story, I can create a private and not have anyone that I don't want on there. So, kind of just.
Now, if somebody has a private account, but then another, like one of their friends is following them, then you get the friend of a friend looking at it.
It does not work that way on
Snapchat. Okay.
Nope.
Yeah, it's very specific. And if you wanted to see, if I just wanted Noah here to see my private story, if I made a private story, it would just be him. It would never work as friends of friends or things like that. That only works with just like adding or, deleting friends and things like that.
So with Snapchat, when you view a story, you cannot, like if I view Thomas's story, I cannot see who else viewed his story. Like I just know that I viewed it. So I can't see the amount of views he has or who else viewed it, that's it. But he can see everyone.
Which is really nice, actually.
Going back to that accounts thing, just to kind of look back to Instagram, whereas here you can't really see those private stories, but with Finstas, they are recommended. So like usually if you find one, and this is how I ended up following like a lot of my friends' Finstas, like I came across one of their Finstas, then as soon as you click follow, there's other recommended users, and usually because a bunch of Finstas are following each other, they just all kind of show up in a line. So usually those ones are a lot more accessible from a Finsta, but they're hard to find otherwise unless you know someone's username.
Another thing about Instagram is that if you are private and someone's not following you, they can't see anyone you're following or anyone that's following you, but as soon as like you accept their request, then they can see everyone you're following, all the people that are following you, all your posts, in all the posts that you're tagged in, if the person that posted that specific photo is public or you follow them.
The only exception to that is if Sarah's looking at my Instagram, she hasn't followed it yet, but she's friends with Jordan and Thomas are following my Instagram, she can see that they follow it, but she can't see any of my other followers that she doesn't already follow.
It's like a little thing that says followed by these people, and I think it shows that on Facebook too. It says like you have 2 mutual friends on this account. It's the same thing.
Yes.
I'm trying to figure out this Finsta thing.
Yeah, this is kind of new. Like this is in the past year or
It
two.
seems like it's very like an alter ego kind of thing. Like I can say what I want to say and not be held accountable. Is that kind of what it is?
Not really. It's more like
It's
Finstas are for like stupid stuff. You're like people care about my birthday or my vacation, so I'm gonna post that on my Finsta. My Finsta is just like all the dumb stuff, like pictures of my dog every day or something like that.
Or like, guess what? I just failed this
It's
test.
kind of like
Yeah,
who you
right.
are
Yeah.
with your friends, opposed to like who you are in front of like all of your peers and people you're trying to impress.
Okay. I'm gonna say a lot of posts, I have a Finsta, a lot of posts on my Finsta is me complaining about my day. That I know everyone else does not want to hear. So just for my close friends to see what's been going on in my life without me actually having to tell them.
It's not like as risque as it sounds. It really is mostly just complaining about your day.
We don't have a vendetta against you, you know. We're okay.
Sir, did you have a question?
Yeah, on Snapchat,
Yeah.
the files that you can save.
The My Eyes Only?
Yeah, is that only content from your device? Like other than screen shares?
So you can log into Snapchat on any device, and the posts that you save to My Eyes Only or Memories, they will be able to get on any device that you log into it on.
But those
However,
are only,
they will not
they're
stay
only
there.
taken from your account. It's not something that you've saved from somebody else that's now
Yeah,
in
no.
your possession.
If you screenshot
Unless you
something,
screenshot it.
Yeah, if you like anything that's in your camera roll or that you take on Snapchat can be put into your My Eyes Only.
Yes.
The best way to describe it is more kind of like a cloud. So a lot of people nowadays too, I do it a lot, save on storage. If I wanted to save a photo or I want to save a whole bunch of my photos that I take on Snap, I would save it and it would save in a little tab, just my saved photos, or just saved photos. And it's kind of like a cloud because it's on your account and it's very specific to your Snapchat account. So if I were to log in on that tablet over there to my Snapchat account, it would have all my saved photos that I saved from Snapchat on there as well. It would not have access to like my camera roll on my cell phone. It would only have access to the camera roll on that tablet.
But I think what he's asking though is like, if I share a story, can he save it onto his
Only if
My
you
Eyes?
screenshot
Unless,
Yeah.
not unless you screenshot it. If
Yeah.
you screenshot it, then you can go to your camera roll. It's not going to go automatically to your Snap Memories, but you can go to your camera roll and then get on Snapchat. There's like a camera roll section on your Snapchat that you can look at. So if you saved the photo in your camera roll on Snapchat to your My Eyes Only, it gets very confusing.
Where's
But
the camera roll?
so if you slide up to your memories on the camera, if you slide up, it's your memories. Can I have the clicker? Oh, I'm sorry. No, you're fine. I don't. Okay, so if you slide up or slide over first, it'll go to your camera. If you slide up, your memories will be there. And if you slide over again, your camera roll should be there. And if you slide over again,
She's still logging in. So.
I'll help you. No, don't worry. I'll help you. But if you just to like introduce it, if you slide over, it's your camera roll, and if you slide over again, it's your My Eyes Only. So all of the photo albums right there are.
Yeah, for us it's just clockwork and we just flip right through it. Yeah.
Yes.
So if you, let's say, you take a screenshot of somebody's Snapchat.
Yeah.
Put it in My Eyes Only. Can you I just found send that to somebody else?
If you take a screenshot, just like you can take, or you can send any picture or video in your camera roll to anyone, like on regular messages, because the screenshot automatically saves to your camera roll. So you can send it to anyone, just like on any app. Yep. Are you there?
What these kids are sending, what you're sending to each other is not necessarily private.
Correct.
That's,
Things can always be screenshotted. So that's the thing with Snapchat. Never trust that it'll be just between you and that person, because like I said before, there are apps that you can screenshot without notifying the person.
It's just kind of like at the end of the day, it's every man for himself, really. I mean, you just gotta hope and pray that you post something or you share something that's more personal between you and your friend, and they don't share it with the whole rest of the world or your whole school, and you're just like, no, I shouldn't have done that.
Was there another question? Yeah.
Do any of you have any friends who are not on any social media?
I do not.
I had a negative impact on those friends.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. any social media. Like they don't
Yeah,
have
yeah.
one
No
thing.
Instagram, no Snapchat, no Twitter, no Facebook, nothing. They've got text message.
Don't know those people.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like they're not as included in, like, if we decide we want to hang out, I might like say something on my fence, so like, does anyone want to see this movie with me, and they won't get that message, so they won't have the opportunity to do that.
Or like Alexis said, you know, a lot of communication with your friends right now is happening on Snapchat, and so people that, you know, don't have those apps might be ostracized just because of that, and it's not intentional.
So what do you suggest?
Let them get something. Instagram is like the most family friendly one, probably.
I think Instagram and Snapchat are both pretty safe as long as they're somewhat monitored.
Yes.
Snapchat's the safest, especially for younger people, in my opinion, just because I feel like it's not, especially with Snapchat, there's not much inappropriate content on it. It's more as they get older, they're more at risk of engaging in inappropriate activities, and then that gets sent around, which is the big danger of Snapchat. Whereas Instagram, there's some inappropriate content that you can find, and then Twitter, I would say, is the most access to that kind of bad content. So like, that's kind of how I would see it. And then one thing to add about Snapchat is that nothing at all is saved unless it is screenshotted or like the chat. Like every picture or video, if it's not screenshotted, it disappears and it is gone forever unless there have been pretty much no ways to get it back. Like I know it's saved into some Snapchat thing for like court cases, but nothing like it's pretty much gone forever. And screenshotting honestly doesn't happen super often just because there's kind of like, whenever someone does, it's like, why'd you do that? You know, it's just kind of socially weird to screenshot stuff
So like
sometimes.
my sister and I will send really ugly pictures of ourselves to each other, and someone else will screenshot it as like blackmail. You know, I'm gonna post this if you don't clean the dishes, that kind of stuff. It's really harmless. Yeah, the horror stories you hear are very rare.
I promise though, your kids are gonna get bullied more if they don't have anything than if they get one platform. I promise.
Yes, ma'am.
In a teenage mind, what does being monitored look like?
Monitored.
Yeah, you guys keep saying if you let it be monitored or.
So, I mean, yeah, go ahead.
In my opinion, so I get where you guys are coming from. However, not me, but another tune, it seems a little over the top. It's just, it depends on how far you go, honestly. Now, if you yell at them and then take their phone and then go through it, it's kind of like, wow, you're invading my space. But if you talk to them about all of what we just went through and talk to them about precautions and everything and say, do you have this? And like, kind of more like have a conversation with them about it. I feel like that's very like less invasive and more of like a nice way to do it.
And I think that was the whole point of tonight, is that so you can talk to them.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to keep up with all these. I mean, my kids grew up in the Facebook era. I can tell you how old I am or how old my kids are, but when they were talking to me going through this, I had no idea what they were going to say.
Her head was spinning.
My head was spinning. So just the fact that you're here and you can talk with your kids. There's things like Twitter where you may not be able to prevent some of the content they're seeing. However, you just have to have conversations, and that's what sort of the next slide is talking about. There is some social media red flags. They talked a lot about it's for some good things, and they're using it in good ways. There's some bad things, and as long as you stay informed and be able to talk with your kids and feel comfortable with some of the communication, that's where you start. That's part of the monitoring. And you know, cyberbullying. I think one of the kiddos talked about that on Twitter. Be good role models. Parents are very guilty of this too. Be careful what you're posting. Show good stewardship of the social media. Use it in a good way. Be good role models. So I think that I don't know about you guys, but I think they did a fantastic job, and that's why I brought the experts in. And I commend you as parents being here tonight, because that's the first step in the right direction. So just a couple things about, if you want more information about our Kings or this learning series, if you go to resources on our Kings website, kingslocal.net, and up on the home page you go to resources, and that clicks onto a menu, and it goes to community learning series. You will see a couple of them have been recorded. The vaping and juuling was very, very popular, and it was recorded. That we may bring that back. That's something that's very, very popular right now. Kids are vaping and something called juuling. I learned a lot. Talk about my head spinning on that one. And in April and May, we're doing marijuana and underage drinking. So if you click on there, you will, and this isn't a live link, so I can't really show you, but you will see the series. And also, as soon as this is in video form, it will be recorded and put up on there, and also some additional handouts on how to talk to your kids. And there's about 9 additional handouts that I'm going to post up there related to social media and just media in general. So I hope that you had learned a lot. And again, I thank my great panel of experts there, and thank you for coming tonight.